Head 30, Ministry of Labour, $414,688,000. I will now invite the Minister of Labour to make a brief opening statement, not exceeding 5 minutes. Minister.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It is an honor to meet with these distinguished members of the Standing Finance Committee to discuss the budgetary allocations of the Ministry of Labour for the fiscal year 2021-2022. At the start of 2020-21 fiscal year, the portfolio of the Ministry of Labour was realigned with the removal of entrepreneurship and small business development from its mandate. Labour administration, which encompasses the facilitation of job creation, employment matters, and industrial relations issues, is the core focus of the Ministry of Labour. This realignment has afforded us the opportunity to adapt and to prioritize work to promote decent work, equal opportunities for all in the labour market and industrial peace. Our labour legislation reform agenda was adversely affected by the restrictions of the pandemic. However, through our creativity, we have been able to commence paper-based consultations for the Minimum Wages Act and the Maternity Protection Act. Paper-based consultations will continue in fiscal 2022 for other pieces of legislation, including legislation to govern HIV and AIDS in the workplace, legislation for the prevention and elimination of the worst form of child labour, the Employment Standard Bills, and the Workmen Compensation Transfer of Funds Act. Additionally, in fiscal 2021, the Ministry was able to tender for consultants to undertake a study on the determination of minimum wage on the economy, a national baseline survey on knowledge, attitudes, benefits, and practices on HIV in the workplace, and to conduct a private sector vacancy survey. These initiatives will be pursued further in fiscal 2022. Madam Chair, the Ministry was able to continue operating, serving its stakeholders during the course of this pandemic by harnessing information and communication technology in the course of our daily work. The Cipriani College of Labour and Cooperative Studies, for example, was able to transform fully to online teaching and learning, which has proven to be quite successful. In fiscal 2022, we intend to effect our digital transformation plan and redesign of the official website of the Ministry of Labour as critical components to our trust to improve accessibility of the Ministry's services to the public and enhancing service delivery. The Ministry continues to be innovative in implementing its initiatives geared towards modernization and the labour legislative and policy frameworks. We will continue on this strategy through from 2016 we started, and it is likely we will complete our full complement by the year 2030. The National Performance Framework, the Roadmap to Recovery of Trinidad and Tobago, and our core policy documents are all being used in the best interests of our citizens. In closing, Madam Chair, we are prepared to participate in an informative and productive session and look forward to discussions and recommendations of the committee. I would also like to thank my staff at the Ministry of Labour and all the ancillary agencies for their hard work, dedication, and welcome them. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $414,688,000 for Head 30, Ministry of Labour, stand part of the schedule. Honourable members, the sum of $414,688,000 for Head 30, Ministry of Labour, is comprised of monies proposed for expenditure under the following subheads and items to be found in the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure, the draft estimates of the revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly, and the draft estimates of development program. We now proceed to consider the draft estimates of recurrent expenditure. Subhead 01, Personal Expenditure, Item 001, General Administration. Member for Couva South.
Thank you very much. Minister, very quickly, with respect to vacant posts under salaries and cost of living, could you inform this meeting how many vacant posts currently exist within your ministry?
08?
Yeah, well, 08.
We have 192 vacant positions right now in the ministry.
And do you foresee filling of these vacant posts in the coming financial year?
We have 108 bodies in place, and we are working assiduously to get our, not full complement, but given how we are operating, to strike an equilibrium of what we actually need. You would appreciate that in the COVID pandemic that we are still rotating, and therefore we are not back to full capacity. So we will play that as we go along, play that by ear.
Okay, Minister, with respect to 06 remuneration to board members, I see that your expenditure, projected expenditure for 2022 will increase by $980,425. Have you increased the complement of members on your respective boards under your purview?
No, there were several boards in 2021 that were not functional. And so for instance, the Productivity Council and a number of other such bodies will be, we will be filling those board vacancies, and therefore in 2022, we expect to see an increase in that cost.
So you will fill positions on the National Productivity Council and which other entity?
Oh, we have quite a few. Where is the document? Right. We have 8 other boards, and at various times they are not all fully manned, and therefore, so we have the tripartite ILO 144, the National Productivity Council, Standing National Labor Market Council, Boilers Examinations Board, HIV/AIDS Workplace Advocacy Advisory Group, Industrial Relations Advisory Committee, National Tripartite Advisory Council, and National Steering Committee for the Prevention and Elimination of Child Labor, and the Minimum Wages Board.
Item 002, cooperatives. Item 003, friendly societies. Item 004, occupational safety and health authority. Item 005, on the job training program. Member for Couva South.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Minister 01 again very quickly as it relates to salaries and cost of living. That $1,545,074 in terms of the increase in your projected expenditure. How do you intend to expend this increase?
Okay, we have approximately 122 people on board. We have a number of vacancies still to be filled. We have 35 people in post. We have 33 vacancies. And therefore, we'll be looking at, because of the expanded work we'll be doing in the OJT, we're now looking at filling those particular positions that are vacant.
This is within your established organizational structure or contract position?
This is established.
Established. Okay. Thank you.
Subhead 02, Goods and Services, item 001, General Administration, item 002, Cooperatives, item 003, Friendly Societies, item 004, Occupational Safety and Health Authority, item 005, on the Job Training Program, Member for Tabaki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm looking at line item 17, training. I assume that this $300 million estimate for 2021, that covers the trainees in the OJT program, that's correct? Right. And so in the estimate was $311 million, but you would have only utilized some $268 million. My question is that due to fewer people applying for the OJT program, or was there a decision that we wouldn't hire as many persons?
No, that had to do with COVID and the fact that many students, although they applied, we didn't have a lot of takers because people were in lockdown and rotation and so on. So 2021 was a bit of a skewed year in terms of placing trainees into the program. We do, however, expect that in fiscal 2022, that would be expanded. So we moved from 4,900 in 2020 down to 3,928 in 2021. But we are hoping to move that up to 6,000 in 2022.
Okay, thank you for that. But then I will note that our estimate for 2022 is less than what we actually spent in 2020. So how would we be able to facilitate this expansion of the program?
Okay, the expansion is facilitated. If you know the OJT system, we have 5 different categories. So generally, what happens is we have a mix from the lower categories to the higher categories. So depending on where the emphasis is placed in placing people, you can actually expand on the number of people entering into the program. So a person with a master's degree is somewhere is level 5 and is somewhere in like the 9,000 range.
Yeah.
But somebody who is an O-level graduate or a technician or something might be 3 or 4, might be around 4,000. So if we double up and we mix and match, we can in fact increase the numbers of people in the program.
Okay. Thank you for that, Minister. But I think we should also have some consideration that as we emerge as best as we can from the pandemic, we would have a number of students graduating from university and at different levels who are unable to find work. So that's just a point for consideration as we enter fiscal 2022.
Okay.
Member for Cuba South.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that the Minister has responded to a lot of the concerns I had on the OJT program. Minister, also take into consideration not only university level, but at the secondary level, children will emerge into the job market. And in addition to that, you could provide that in writing to us in relation to the different levels, how many persons or bodies you have at the respective levels within the program.
Yeah. You want it now or you like it?
No, if you have it, you put it in
Okay.
writing.
The breakdown by stipend levels is in level 1, we have 695 trainees. Level 2, 338. Level 3, 74. Level 4, 672. And level 5, 75. That's the general composition as of now.
And the stipend, you have no outstanding sums and so on. All in terms of the numbers, they are up to date in terms of their payments?
Yes, they are.
Thank you.
Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, item 001, general administration. Item 004, occupational safety and health authority. Item 005, on-the-job training program. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies. Item 003, United Nations Organization. Item 004, international bodies. Item 005, non-profit institutions. Item 007, households. Item 009, other transfers. Item 010, other transfers abroad. Member for Baratari Sangon.
Minister, can you just give us an indication of what this funding for the liaison officer in Canada is about?
Yes, Madam Chair. That is the farm program where we have 300 nationals working on various farms in Canada. There is a liaison office there that looks after their well-being, and it is manned by staff from the Ministry of Labour on a rotational basis.
And what services would you offer to the nationals through this liaison office in Canada?
What do we do?
Yeah, what services you offer to the nationals who are over there?
We offer a range of services in terms of working with the farmers to ensure that they have good accommodation, that they don't have any issues, that their health and safety is taken care of. Some of them have issues with families and because they're away from their loved ones, and we also do that kind of liaison to make sure that they are comfortable.
Thank you. Heard that workers on the seasonal farming program in Canada are getting problems when they return to Trinidad because they have mixed vaccines. Have you heard anything?
They have what? Excuse me?
Mixed vaccines, which is permitted in Canada, but...
All right, so I'm not going to allow that under this item.
All right.
Subhead 06, current transfers to statutory boards and similar bodies. Honourable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of revenue and expenditure of the statutory boards and similar bodies and of the Tobago House of Assembly. We're starting at page 185, subhead item 17, Cipriani College of Labour and Cooperative Studies. Subhead 01, personal expenditure, item 001, general administration. Member for Cuba South.
Yeah. With respect to remuneration to board members, Minister, I know that this is a tripartite board. You have a full complement of members of the different sectors on the board?
Yes, we do.
Okay, no problem.
Subhead 02, goods and services, item 001, general administration. Subhead 03, minor equipment purchases, item 001, general administration. Subhead 04, current transfers and subsidies, item 007, households. Honourable members, we will now move on to the draft estimates of the development program. Subhead 09, development program, consolidated fund, we starting at page 72. Item 003, economic infrastructure. Item 005, multi-sectoral and other services. Honourable members, item 005 spans 3 pages. Therefore, I will announce the project groups. We're starting at M, which is Cipriani College of Labour and Cooperative Services Studies. Member for Cuba South.
Just for the benefit of this meeting, I know that you indicated that the college has gone virtually, fully virtual in terms of its teaching and so on. This $2 million that you or the facility will spend in relation to the upgrade of its ICT, could you give some further details on how it will be expended?
Okay, the university, maybe I'm prophetic, but the Cipriani College is using this money to enhance their ICT program. Because of the pandemic, they actually are now streaming content to the wider Caribbean, and they have in fact increased their enrollment even in the pandemic because of that. So that's an opportunity that we see that we need to pursue, and therefore that money would help in creating buying the servers and the infrastructure and hardware and software to make the experience a much better one for the students.
A, Administrative Services. Member for Tabakit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am at line item 93, operationalization of the National Tripartite Advisory Council. Just looking at the expenditure over 2020-2021, it's always averaged under the 700,000 mark, and we're estimating $2.5 million. Can the Minister give us some idea of where this is going?
Yes, Madam Speaker. The National Tripartite Operationalization is we have already identified a building, and we're working with Presby with regards to obtaining that building to house the NTAC Secretariat. We're also looking at hiring, and we are in the process now of aggressively hiring staff to fill those vacancies within the Secretariat. So that money really would be for payment of rentals, salaries, goods and services, and so on, to make that particular body operational.
Okay, thank you.
Assault?
Minister, you spoke about the operationalization of this National Tripartite Advisory Council, and it has collapsed on 3 occasions under the chairmanship of your colleague, the Minister of Planning. How many staff members do you intend to recruit with this allocation?
9.
9. And given the state of collapse, is the committee actually, or the council actually functioning in terms of meetings with the respective stakeholders and the government?
We are meeting. As you know, the trade union has pulled out, but we are very hopeful and that 2022 will be a different year and that they would return to the table. So we still see this as an important part of our labor consultative approach, and we are not giving up on it.
All right. Thank you very much, Minister. So in spite of the pleadings of the Minister of Planning and Development, the chairperson, labor has not returned to the table.
Not as yet.
All right. Thank you very much. Under 101, implementation of a national workplace policy on sexual harassment, Minister. You have no allocation for 2022. Does that mean this is no longer on the radar of the Ministry of Labour?
Yes, it's still on the radar, but a lot of work has gone into it. And I believe at this time, the Office of the Attorney General is in fact finalizing the issues around that policy and with the direction to turn it into law. So that is very much alive. But for us,
You have handed it over to the Attorney General.
in terms of the legislation.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, if I may, the Ministry of Labour took very diligent steps, produced a significant amount of work. The Office of the Attorney General and the Law Reform Commission have settled drafts of law, and we are at the cusp of bringing that to the Cabinet for consideration and then to the Parliament.
One final issue, Madam Chair, with your permission. 091, the development of a child labour policy, and you have projected, or your ministry has projected, that there will be expenditure of approximately $1 million. Where you are with the development of this particular policy, taking into consideration that Trinidad and Tobago is a member of the International Labour Organization, and I think that we should all work towards the reduction of child labour in the workplace.
Oh, thank you for that question. The Ministry of Labour really undertook an invitation to tender for the engagement of a consultant to conduct research. That closed in 2021, but we received no proposals. So we are going back out to the marketplace to look for a consultant to do primary work. However, we are gathering secondary data through various sources while we do that. So it is high on the agenda, but we envisage that the gathering of the data will be critical, and in this regard, we do not have the capacity in-house, so we are looking for consultants to get this home.
Thank you very much.
F, Public Buildings. Infrastructure Development Fund, item 005, multi-sectoral and other services. Honourable members, the question is that the sum of $414,688,000 for head 30, Ministry of Labour, stand part of the schedule. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The sum of $414,688,000 for head 30, Ministry of Labour, now stands part of the schedule. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Madam Pierce. Thank you to the other technocrats.